scammers, bad teachers, cash seekers, trash leaders, tricked a lot of people out the faith and they detached Jesus. I came back to rescue the people lost in the jungle, recover the fumble and let them see what the sun do. We tore down the walls of the temple but left the foundation. Mold infested, roof leaking politics of a proud nation. You think I'm here to flip tables, but I ain't started yet. Way too many blueprints, but I don't see many architects. Churches hide behind public policy with a face mask. Yeah, I'm talking heavy. I'm in another weight class, anomaly. Weighted with ancient Near Eastern prophecy, scrutinizing Western philosophies and theologies, lifting up the skirt of you Pharisees like a pervert. Hard-hearted, self-righteous distributors of church hurt. They say this is the end cause the people are uninspired. The game ain't over yet, just a couple players retired.
They said we were walking away from the faith. We wasn't walking away from faith, we was walking away from fraud. We rebels again. We was handed doctrines dipped in dominance, while the systems abused the sacred. But that wasn't true. That was hypocrisy. So we tore it down. Not because we hate truth, but because we love it too much. We ain't lost. We architects now. We not destroying. We're clearing space to rebuild. A faith that can breathe. A gospel that liberates. A Jesus who still overturns tables.
I was wrestling like, should I write a verse? The culture got enough clout chasing vultures out here, trying to prove they worth. They need attention. They can't imagine me not trying to make myself look bigger off of this Kendrick mention. I can't imagine his position. Before I got on my mission, I was a party victim. I bought the party favors. I used my trauma, my single mama, to justify commas to pay the devil's wages. Whew. That probably went over their heads. Basically what I said is I was government fed, bread for doing time in the feds, but Jesus bled. Instead of putting dents in their head, he turned his. My cup runneth over with nonsense. They hearts grow colder, they love to do evil, they burn their conscience. I want the dealer's head who gave my cousin fentanyl. Labels exploiting rapping addicts, man, I'm sick of y'all. My daddy ran with Compton Chris, my uncle's Pyru. Stuck in the middle of this madness, what should I choose? I should be choosing between Howard and Hampton. I love the people that I ran with, but look at the damage. You want me put you on, but I know you still with the scamming. A crooked doctor took advantage and hooked me on Xanax. It's killers sitting in they cell for taking somebody innocent, and they don't even feel no remorse. The worst ignorance. But when I take a look in the mirror, the blood of Uriah's on my hands, cause I'm that killer who had Bathsheba in his quarters. I'm that who let Eve taste the fruit of death. I'm dead sinner, I deserve death, along with all these liars and hypocrites. Fake tough rappers who fabricate they predicaments. Fake deep guru pushing voodoo on the people, telling folks that my God ain't real. That's real evil. I wonder what Lecrae would do. Hopefully seek the hand of God and tell him that he's incapable. But truthfully, I'm nobody to judge. My good deeds are like some period blood stains on a dirty rug. All I can offer them is Jesus' love. I know it sound foolish to many, like really? That's all you got for us? Yeah, the cross is foolish to the perishing. The world will call me weak and the saints will say I embarrass them. I walk the valleys full of evil, I'm aware of it. I can't condemn the world and burn all of the heretics. Love is patient, so I'm trusting in the narrative. And Christ ain't watched the party die, he died instead of it. I lost hope in humanity many moons ago. Took the sun to remind me the moon is just for show. Reflecting light, it has no light of its own. Without the sun, it's just a dark, cold, perilous globe. I mean, I probably had to take you back, but how far though? Back when me and mama rode the bus because her car broke. Back when I was in my early teens, having dreams about being your favorite rapper, but none of it's what it seems. Baby, the crime scene, the scene of the crime. My partner had got arrested, went away for a time.
What is up, y'all? Here, let me fix my camera real quick, if I can. Come on, camera. Focus. There we go. What is up, everybody? I just got done watching Daniel Laurie and Joe Hudson hanging out on Cybercast After Dark. So if you were waiting for me to stream, You can blame them. I opened up YouTube to get everything ready to stream, and I saw that he was live. So I was like, okay, dude, I gotta watch this. So I was hanging out there. So if you are tuning in and you were in Daniel, Lori, and Joe's conversation, let me know in chat. Would love to hear from you. But hello, everyone. If you are new here, my name is Tyler Ramsby. I'm a pen tester by day, content creator, live streamer, sometimes rapper by night, and I'm really excited to have you taking the time to hang out with me. Now, before we dive in, have a few little housekeeping things to tell you about. Number one of the best ways that you can support me is by checking out some of my content. Well, let me fix my face over here. My course isn't only during the live stream, and I don't even know if I'll do this every live stream. But right now it is like this. So I might do this less often, just every once in a while when I live stream. All of my courses, all of my bundles, all of my subscriptions are 15% off. As soon as the live stream is over, it's going back to full price. So don't say I didn't tell you. I'll remind you again later on in the stream. But as soon as the stream is over, all of this is going back to full price. Either way, even at full price, it's crazy discounted for the content that you are getting. For example, if you do the subscription or the hacking bundle, that's about 40 hours of training from me, and I'm adding to it regularly. So appreciate that. Also, guys, I don't know if any of you, oh no, what just happened? There we go. It like froze for a second. OBS did. I don't know if it froze for you guys. Don't know if any of you are a fan of hip hop. Let me know in chat. Who likes rap music? Not like your silly, like auto-tune craziness, but actual rap music. Let me know. Me? All right. Sozo says me. Have you ever heard of Lecrae? He just came out with the new album. And this song, guys, this song is so good. All right, a few people. Okay, guys, I did finish my latest song. You can get it from my YouTube channel. Guys, Lecrae just released an album called Reconstruction. Well, not just. It was a few days ago. But the first song on it is called Reconstruction. I played it when you guys were like during the 5-minute countdown, right in the beginning of it. Guys, you need to listen to this song while looking at the lyrics. This song is deep, all right? And it just feels so close to my story. So for those of you who don't know, I was a pastor for 10 years. And so I have a master's degree in theology, which means I spent 3 years on the academic level studying things like history, philosophy, theology, Greek, Hebrew, things like that. And I was actually working on my doctorate when I dropped from the church world. But guys, I got so burnt out on Christianity, primarily because I started a church. I was a church planner. I was leading a church. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, when we eventually opened up back to services, I asked people to wear a mask for the good of those around them. And people lost their freaking minds. And like, I try not to share politics on here, but I'll share you a little bit of my political background. I am not a Trump mega type person, but I live in South Dakota, and I swear like 99% of people are, and there's this very twisted theology where people take Christianity plus American politics and say, if you do not vote this way or have these policies, you are not a Christian. And it gets very twisted. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of brokenness. There's a lot of just the way that the gospel of Jesus has been hijacked by a freaking political agenda, generally a right-wing political agenda. Now, if I offended you, that's okay. That's the most I'll say there. But anyways, I got fully burnt out, went through a season of therapy. I thought I was going to be a pastor my entire life, but I'm not anymore, obviously. I got very, very pissed off, like unhealthy, angry. And I think Lecrae went through similar stuff, if you hear some of his story. And this song is just so incredibly good. And because I have the microphone, I know this has nothing to do with hacking. But guys, you have to listen to this song. I'll share my screen. It is, and it's short. It's only 2 minutes. Then we'll get to the hacking. But I heard this song today and I was like, dude, this song is so good, so deep. We have the lyrics down here, so I'll let you listen to the lyrics.
This looks weird. What are you building?
Dark twisted fantasies, caste system casualties, lying lips inside the pulpit, false realities, Masoretic textual criticism, cynicism, homophobic pedophiles, double standards, agendas hidden, blasphemers, bad teachers, cash seekers, trash leaders, tricked a lot of people out the faith and they detached Jesus. I came back to rescue the people lost in the jungle, recover the fumble and let them see what the sun do. We tore down the walls of the temple but left the foundation, mold infested roof leaking politics of a proud nation. You think I'm here to flip tables, but I ain't started yet. Way too many blueprints, but I don't see many architects. Churches hide behind public policy with a face mask. Yeah, I'm talking heavy. I'm in another weight class, anomaly. Weighted with ancient Near Eastern prophecy, scrutinizing Western philosophies and theologies, lifting up the skirt of you Pharisees like a pervert. Hard-hearted, self-righteous distributors of church hurt. They say this is the end cause the people are uninspired. The game ain't over yet, just a couple players retired.
So good.
They said we were walking away from the faith. We wasn't walking away from faith, we was walking away from fraud. We rebels again. We was handed doctrines dipped in dominance, while the systems abused the sacred. But that wasn't true. That was hypocrisy. So we tore it down. Not because we hate truth, but because we love it too much. We ain't lost. We architects now. We not destroying. We're clearing space to rebuild. A faith that can breathe. A gospel that liberates. A Jesus who still overturns tables and temples built on...
You guys get the point. Actually, dude, I don't know if I can find this. Let me see if I can. So towards, jeez, is it on here somewhere? Towards the end of my time in ministry, I actually wrote a song that got me in trouble with quite a few people. Oh gosh, I found it. All right, guys, I did say we're gonna do hacking, but let me share this with you. This is out of the vault, okay? So you guys all know I make rap music. When I was still a pastor, I was in a really dark place dealing with all of this, and I wrote a song. I wrote this song when I was very much considering resigning, but still I felt trapped. I couldn't see myself doing anything besides ministry. I mean, I spent thousands of dollars over 3 years to get a master's degree and had no other degree, so I didn't really see an alternative path for myself. But I was very pissed off, very on the verge of burnt out, and I wrote a song about my issues with the church and Christianity at that time, and I found it. So let me play this for you guys. I also have the lyrics. This is all original. I wrote it, mixed it, mastered it, blah 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 blah. This is before AI. Let me see when I released this song. This was September 19th, 2020. Hat from where? Oh, store.hacksmarter.org. Store.hacksmarter.org. I apologize for the music, but this is another thing I'm passionate about. We will eventually get to the hacking, but this is the song I wrote. Blah, blah. You can read this if you want, but here's the lyrics. We'll listen to the song. What? This doesn't sound right.
Let me tell you where I'm at.
Oh, no, it is. Okay.
I
I just pray that you use it though. See, it's unusual, the things inside my mind. Been daydreaming about going back to a 9 to 5 to take all of my ministry and just throwing it to the side. I don't know why, well actually I do. I just wanna hide from all the pain that I've been through. Disillusioned and confused, partly by the news and partly by the people in the pews who just consume. What do? I don't know. I feel my soul growing cold as I try to cope, being pulled to self-medicate with a false hope. So here's a small note just to get this off my chest. And everything I wrote is so you know that I'm a mess, and I don't know where to go to deal with all the stress. Let me tell you where I'm at. I hope I can climb back. Here's my soul on a live track. I'm disillusioned with the Christian church, full of hatred and division. We don't listen first. They said that Black Lives Matter and we're feeling hurt, so we yell Trump 2020, go and get the hearse. It's ridiculous, we're preaching politics. I've come dangerously close to call it quits, cause I don't get where I fit in with all of this. Even as I write this song, it's coming with the risk, but I refuse to be a puppet for an audience, so go and put me on your list. That is A-OK. Romans 1:16, I'm still unashamed, but I feel the pain of all the things that I need to say. So I will plead today through my written word, praying that my God will come and minister the hope and healing that I need as a minister. The hope and healing that I need as a minister. Let me tell you where I'm at. That's from the vault. So yes, I wrote that. That's all original to me. Back in 2020. And hey, spoiler alert, I quit. I did not stay with ministry, obviously. But it was a rough time. All right, now that we got my reminiscing and hip hop out of the way, let me say hello to everyone. I'm not going to go through everyone in chat. I'm just going to kind of scroll through. We got Mark, Jesse, Hoymanoy, Anita, Cyber Saint, Zero. Cool, did not get first blood, but good to have you here. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions before we dive into stuff. What up, Crypto King? I have not tried to use Sliver on a ARM64. What up, Katie? I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for dropping by. All right, let me scroll through. Since rapping is a key cybersecurity skill, will you teach rap as part of your training? Now we're asking the good questions. Yes, intro to rap methodology will be available on Hack Smarter courses, $34.99 lifetime access. Of course. All right, let me scroll through. Top 1% of Lecrae listeners on Spotify. That's awesome. Never knew you were a pastor. For good or for bad, I was. Clearly didn't work out for me. But I learned a lot. I live in a very similar area to a completely different state, so you know the struggle. All right, let me scroll. Hey, Tyler, when you were younger, did you hypothetically do vulnerability testing on random websites? Yes. Actually, I mean, I won't share too much of my story, but I got into hacking when I was 13. I got banned from using computers in the school. So for a year, I could not use computers, and I was threatened with criminal charges. Very awkward because when I was in school, you didn't have like a tablet. So to do computer projects, you had to go to the computer lab. So if we had to do a PowerPoint, we had to go to the computer lab. I wasn't allowed to use a computer, so I had to use like old school poster board to make my PowerPoints. Start the VM on Hack the Box. You know what? I'll do that right now. Just while I answer questions. Good call, Zero. Cool. It is starting up right now. I mean, you guys can watch it start up if you want. This is one of the old tunes you wrote. It was. It's a documentary on Eminem on Prime. Yeah, I think it's called Stan. I haven't listened to it. Eminem's awesome though. Thank you were called for this, my friend. Guys, I tried I tried to make my career as a rapper. It didn't work out. So now I have to make it as a hacker so I can fund my rap career. That's really the end goal. I'm just hacking to fund my rap career. Did I shower? I have taken a shower. Thank you for checking. Eminem stole your lyrics and made a name of himself. I know he did. Why is chat not showing up here, guys? Let me fix chat real quick, and then I'll keep... Oh, there it is. Weird. All right, now it's there. What can you tell us about Simply CyberCon? Hey, I can knock that question out of the park. If you go to simplycybercon.org, make sure you're going to be there. Simply CyberCon, the schedule is out right now, and yours truly is keynoting, kicking things off at 9 a.m. So if you're not going to be there, you should be there. I'll drop a link in chat, but I'm super excited. I'll be there in person. My wife's actually coming with me, so we'd love to meet you. We'd love to hang out with you if you're going to be at Simply CyberCon. When are you dropping that one? I'd want to remaster it. I think the mixing on it, I heard the S's were a little bit too I could fix that. I'd want to rewrap it or remix it. But I don't know, that's the thing that's tough with music for me. I can't just like, it's hard for me just to sit down and write music. My best music usually comes from a place when I'm in a very dark place personally, or just like struggling inwardly. If I'm not in that place, I can't write music very well. So, yeah. Luke said, took some time to learn Sliver last night. Oh, awesome, dude. I love it. Oh, Zeba says, my dad is a pastor. I know how nuts it can be. It's insane, guys. I mean, you read about the pastors on the news, right, who are like making millions of dollars flying in their private jets. I was making about $30,000 to $40,000 a year, the sole income provider for my family of four. We qualified for everything as far as like government assistance goes because we were broke, but I made very little money. Was on call 24/7, would regularly deal with very intense mental health and addiction issues in family, marriages falling apart, like being on call, the first person showing up, trying to walk people through that while I myself am struggling emotionally and spiritually. It's a grind. Being a pastor really is a calling, and I have incredible respect for those in ministry who are in it day in, day out, really with a heart to help people, because it does not pay well. You're always on call. It's a freaking brutal, brutal career. And you're always dealing with criticism as well. No matter what you do, there's people pissed off about it. Sort of like YouTube, except for the people aren't nameless, and they will let you know how mad they are about what you did and blah, 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 blah. Thank you, KLR. Just finished the Mirage Machine, and that was... Oh, I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check out Mirage. Yeah, it sounds like my dad. He has such a heart for the broken, the poor, and the weak. Exactly. Yeah, dude, I bet your dad is amazing. I was a pastor for 10 years. In some ways, I think the calling to be a pastor, like, it never goes away. I still, like, even preach occasionally. Matter of fact, here, I'll show you guys some other things real quick while we get this pulled up. You can do some hunting for me, but I preached a sermon right before the election that once again made people mad because I preached it in a very conservative, like, South Dakota church. See if I can find it. Yeah, so this is somewhat recent. Oh, it's not. Geez, I feel somewhat recent, but it's really not. This is 2 years ago now. Is this the one I was thinking of? No, it's not, but this is another good one. This wasn't even the message I was thinking of. But this is called The Idolatry of Politics. For those of you who don't know, I have a Theology with Tyler channel. It's like my secret channel. Oh, it was this one. This is the one I preached right before, like, it was the Sunday before the election, and I preached it to a very heavily conservative church in South Dakota. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm gonna stop using this channel to talk about it. This channel I haven't updated for a while. I need to get back to it. But if you want to hear more of my thoughts on those things, you can check out that channel. I want to keep this channel more focused on cyber because I know not all of you are a fan of that, which I'm totally fine with. Yeah, Cyber saying it's spot on. I mean, so guys, I very much view what I do now as just a different form of doing pastoral ministry. Like the goal of me starting my pen testing business and focusing on content and making courses is to help people and doing everything I can to make my content and education accessible, especially to those who need it. And I've had many offline conversations with people just about life and emotional health and spirituality. So in many ways, I'm still being a pastor. I'm just not locked into the confines of a church, and I make a little bit better money now. Am I going to make a video for the new song at all? I don't know. Maybe sometime. I just have way too many things going on. Like an insane amount of things I'm trying to do. Yeah, oxygen eater, if I can say that correct. I really appreciate that perspective. And thank you, my friend, for being here. Do you have a preferred C2? My preferred C2 is Sliver. PowerShell Empire is buggy to me every time I try to use it. But okay, guys, let's go ahead and get to the main attraction that I know you all are waiting for. Now, if you are new, and this is one of your first live streams that you're joining me with, is my face out of focus again? No, it's not. I don't think so. Oh, it is a little bit. Let me try to fix this again. Come on, camera. There we go. Now it's in focus. If this is one of your first live streams you're joining me for, it's during these live streams that I also make my standalone video content and also where I make these mini courses called Hack With Me's on my platform. So what we are going to do in today's live stream is we're going to film one of those Hack With Me's and shorter YouTube videos, but I still want you all to be a part of it. So if you have any questions as we go, feel free to ask. And I actually did solve this machine, I think. I couldn't find any notes on it, but I believe I did solve it a while ago. I took like a break from streaming about a year ago now, and I solved a bunch of different machines on VulnLab. I believe this is one of them, but I don't remember the details. So I'm not going into this fully blind because I think I did solve it at some point in time, but I'm going into it mostly blind. So I'll do my best to share with you my methodology, my thought process, the rabbit holes, note-taking, all of those good things. Real quick, I'll answer any questions you guys have before we start recording. I have not used Villain C2, so I don't have any thoughts on it. PowerShell Empire says a lot of useful tools in it, though. Yeah, I think I used it once on TryHackMe, on Wreath, that other people are talking about it. You will. Okay, I'll answer one theology question, Katie. One on this channel. Yes, I think so. Oh my, we got a freaking super chat from the Bearded IT Dad while we're doing a theology live stream. Just kidding. We're going to do some live hacking, but dude, thank you so much. Me and Bearded IT Dad are going to hopefully collab on a video very soon. So thank you, my friend, for being here. Katie, I'll really quickly answer your question. Yes, theologically speaking, at least from my perspective, if you look at the resurrection accounts in the Gospels, the first preachers were women. Jesus resurrected from the dead. He appeared to women. He told the women, go tell the disciples that I have risen from the dead. So the first preachers of the resurrection were women. So yes, I am not the old school fundamentalist King James Version Baptist craziness. My wife preaches to me all the time. I love it. Yeah, we do need to pray to the gods of AD as well. But yeah, the bearded legend himself. What is up? The Bearded IT Dad guys beat me at a freaking CTF at DEF CON. You go to his channel, you can watch it, but the TLDR is there was like a Hack the Box CTF for influencers at DEF CON, but it wasn't like I was expecting technical challenges. It was more like a scavenger hunt. So it was me, the Bearded IT Dad, Tiberius, Maddie, Cyber Maddie. InfoSec Pat. I think that was all of us. And we had essentially different scavenger hunts. And like I had like a team of, I don't know, like 8 people, because I just grabbed random people as I was walking in. People were like, hey, are you Tyler? And I'd say, I am. And now you're on my CTF team. We have to beat these other influencers. So I had like this team of people. We're trying to solve our scavenger hunt. Each one of us got a different one. And freaking Bearded IT Dad just solos it. As far as I know, he didn't even have like a team with him. And he beats all of us and won. And I believe got to go ride in a Lamborghini as a result. So go to his channel. He's an awesome dude, but he beat me. Maddie was close. So guys, you would know this, Bearded IT Dad. I got my mission was different than everybody else's. I got like the imposter mission. At first I thought it was like playing Among Us and I got to kill one of you, but I didn't get to kill anyone, unfortunately. Instead, as an imposter, I had to choose somebody else and try to sabotage their mission. And Tiberius stole one of my teammates. Like Tiberius legit told one of my teammates, I'll pay you $100 if you come work with me instead. My teammate did not accept the money, but he did betray me. And so since Tiberius had a personal attack on me, my goal was to sabotage his mission, which is like finding, I think it was Falcon Spy at the end of the day, but it was like a goon kind of connected to Hack the Box. There was like a riddle in it. And so I was trying to sabotage Tiberius, but Bearded IT Dad soloed it and beat all of us. So that's the DEF CON fun. All right. Shall we actually do some hacking now, ladies and gentlemen? I think we shall. So as I was saying, it's during these live streams that I make my standalone videos. So that is what we are going to do. Also, one final reminder before I start recording, because I won't mention this in the recording. But hey, I also create courses. I have about 40 hours worth of training right now. I'm constantly adding to it. Only during this live stream. All bundles, courses, things like that are 15% off. I just dropped a link in chat. And also, guys, I am giving away a PMPT voucher. Originally, this is September 1st. I forgot that was Labor Day. So we're going to do the drawing on September 2nd. But if you subscribe, only eligible for subscribers. So one cool thing is if you subscribe, is I'm doing giveaways every single month. Only subscribers will be eligible for those giveaways. So this month I'm giving away a PMPT voucher. Next month, thanks to Crypto King, he generously donated a PMPT voucher. So I'll be giving away a second PMPT voucher. So if you don't win this time, you might win the second time. And I can tell you, I really don't have that many subscribers. So your chances of winning are really good, at least right now. Hopefully your chances of winning decrease because I have like 1,000 paid subscribers, but we're not there yet. All right. So your chances of winning are pretty good. And plus, you also get access to all 3 of my full courses, my GCP pen test, pay what you can training, my AD, pay what you can training, and all other content that I make. My Sliver C2 course is coming out in October. Hopefully, if I can get it done, you'll get access to that. There's another Hack With Me coming out in a few weeks. You'll get access to that. Just as they release, you get access to all of it. So if you guys haven't already, check it out. You can get it right now. Look at that. Only $21. All right. Less than $1 a day. I don't even know what that comes down to, like 65 or 70 cents a day. But check it out if you haven't already. Hi, Tyler from India and working as cybersecurity engineer on multiple technologies. Could you please tell me what I should do more to grow in this field? Dude, that's such a broad question. And I don't feel like I can answer it. That's more of a personal one-on-one question. I will say, if you're not part of the Hack Smarter community, we do career coaching, but it's donate what you can. So you donate what you can to a nonprofit of your choice, and you can schedule a one-on-one session with one of the professionals in the field. I recommend you do that and ask your question there. I just dropped the link in chat. He'd make a great used car salesman, wouldn't he? Hey, if my whole like doing solo stuff doesn't work out, maybe I'll make a Drive Smarter YouTube channel and I'll sell you guys cars. One of the two. I'm a high school student right now and your videos have been really helpful in my learning progress. Thanks for all your content. Dude, thank you. Amazing that you are already getting started in high school. I did as well, but there wasn't content like this out. So thank you for being here. I'm glad you have found the content helpful. Which course do I take after only? Should I jump to OSCP or learn about C2 or do red teaming? I would take the OSCP only because of the name recognition. If you want to get past HR, the OSCP is still the gold standard to at least get to the interview for a pen testing role. There's other really good certs out there. I would say the PMPT is second as far as name recognition goes. Try Hack Me release a cert, the PT1. The cert itself is really good. I don't think it quite has the name recognition it needs to make it worthwhile. Hack the Box has the CPTS. Amazing certification, but once again, I don't think quite has the name recognition. All right, I'll answer one more question. What's the difference between a password spraying and a brute force? Generally, when you do a password spray, you have a list of compromised passwords. So when I do this, for example, if I'm on an internal or an external pen test, I'll actually use dehashed. So if you've never heard of dehash, I actually have a video on my YouTube channel showing how to use this. But basically with dehashed, I can target any organization I want. And if I'm targeting, for example, hacksmarter.org, I can use dhash to study all data breaches that anyone at hacksmarter.org, their email is compromised in. I can get either clear text passwords or password hashes. If it's a hash, I'll try to crack the hash. If it's a clear text password, I have that. And I'll have a full list of passwords. Then I'll spray those passwords at any hacksmarter accounts to try to get initial access to the network or to elevate my access in the network. So that would be password spraying. The technical definition of brute forcing is when you try every single character to gain access. Yeah, so Bearded IT Dad is saying the same thing. So if he says it's true, we're both saying it. Sidfu, I recommend checking out Nomsec, dude. He has incredible content on Recon. All right, guys, let's get into the hacking though, shall we? I try to aim to make these recordings about 20 to 30 minutes long, so that's what we're going to aim for. Going to be a little bit of a shorter stream tonight. Maybe we'll do some Q&A at the end. And also want to remind you, I will not be streaming the rest of the week. Generally, I stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, but I am taking, or my family, my wife, me and my wife are taking our kids camping this weekend. So tomorrow night, I have to get everything packed for our camping trip, and then Friday, I'll be camping. So I'm taking the weekend to disconnect, hang out with my family. We do tent camping, so we don't have, a fancy camper. We do real camping in a tent, but that's what I'll be doing. So this is the last live stream for this week. There'll still be content coming out on my channel, though, and I'll be back to live streaming next week. Finally, one more thing to mention before we start recording. This is part number 2. So I'm going to pick up right where we left off in yesterday's stream. So if you feel a little bit lost, you will want to watch the stream from yesterday. You can get that on my YouTube channel. Otherwise, this standalone video will be releasing soon. Thankfully, I have a little bit of a backlog of content, so I'm working through that content on my channel. But that will be coming out soon if you missed it. Give me just a second. Responding to a message not on stream. All right. Do a day in the life of a hacker camping. I would if my goal wasn't to disconnect. If you're doing snake handling for your religion, you're an idiot and you're going to get bit. Oh, interesting, Knox. War driving through the campground. Guys, I do plan on making a lot more real world streams. What I mean by that is a lot more chill, relax, in addition to my technical content. I actually tested this out last night. You can find it on my YouTube channel. I quite literally did a stream as we walked around my neighborhood. I was testing it out to see if it was good enough. And then, I'm not joking, I climbed up in my backyard playground, like where my kids play. We climbed up in the playground. You guys are with me on my phone. And I did Q&A from my backyard in the playset. So find another hacker streamer who does that. You won't find one. John Hammond isn't climbing in his backyard playset to answer your questions. Only I am. But I plan on doing more of those, probably not from the playset, but once I'm full-time for myself, I want to do a lot more streaming. It was today and very weird. I love it. That's fine. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and dive in. There's one thing I need to do because I did this in the previous part. Let me just upload or update my Etsy host so we have the correct IP in here real quick. And I just want to make sure I have connectivity. Also, I probably have to reconnect to the VPN. This is all still from yesterday. Well, I'll sit on my roof and answer questions. I'll also sit on your roof and answer questions. Next stream, guys, I will be on the Bearded IT Dad's roof, and I'll answer your questions from his roof. All right, we have connection. Giveaways every month to your subs. I'm trying it. I'm not making any money from it, but I'm trying it. All right, guys, I'll answer the pastor questions on my other channel. I'm going to take the religion conversation and jump off that back to hacking. All right. John streams on a swing. Top that. Does he? Did John Hammond stream on a swing? All right, well. First, I'm going to stream on the Bearded IT Dad's roof. Then I'll stream from John Hammond's studio. I'll just show up at his house. I'll break into his nice little fancy dark studio, and then I'll go live from his channel. All right. So first it's the Bearded IT Dad's roof, and then I'm going to show up in John's studio and go live from his channel. That is a threat. It's actually not. John's an awesome, genuinely nice person. I really like him. But okay, let's go ahead and record. And instead of talking about breaking into people's houses, we'll talk about breaking into computers. How'd you guys like that transition there? Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of working through the lock machine on Hack the Box. Formerly, it was on VulnLab, but VulnLab was recently acquired by Hack the Box. Now, this is part 2, so if you missed part 1, I recommend watching part 1 first. Otherwise, you may feel a little bit lost. Either way, I'm super excited to have you here, and you're going to learn a lot in the process. You might also notice that there is chat right here above my head or to the side of me. I actually make these while I'm live streaming. So if you do not subscribe to me on YouTube, you should. It's what all the cool people do. And you should hit the little bell notification thingy so that you're notified the next time I stream. I live stream all the time, and then you can be part of the live studio audience. All that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, picking up where we left off, I rebooted the machine. It is the next day. But remember, we found a public repo being exposed on a Getia instance on port 3000. So we're just going to pick up right where we left off. I'm not sure if this will load again, and hopefully it does. Maybe. Maybe not, since I have a new network. I think I might have to reopen that. We'll try to reopen it in Kaido. Hopefully it refreshes the DNS, and we'll do HTTP lock.vl on port 3000. And there we go. We are right back to where we left off. And if we jump over to our notes, remember we did dir search and we found explore repos. And we found a repo, a public repo with some potentially interesting information. So here we have Ellen Freeman dev scripts. And if you look over at our notes, we already have just from that some username enumeration. So if we were doing this as an internal pen test, as an attacker, we know right away we have at least one user named Ellen Freeman. We could use this information for some password spraying. Maybe we could try to get access to her or his account. And we also have some public scripts called dev scripts. So that's where we ended the previous part. And that's where we're going to pick things up. And just a reminder, I think, solve this machine a year ago, but I don't remember what it was. So I don't know what we're going to expect. This may even be a rabbit hole, but what I like to show you in these videos is the full process, my full methodology, my thought process, the rabbit holes I fall into, and all of those fun things. So let's go ahead and click into dev scripts. and see what is going on here. So we have repos.py. If it would load, there we go. So what are we doing here? So we're importing some standard Python libraries for working with a web request. We're making a function for the domain, and we're saying, hey, if it doesn't start with HTTP or HTTPS, go ahead and add that to the domain. So it must accept the domain, as you can see, for the function. We're getting repos, and we're passing it an authorization token. I think this would be like for Git itself, an authorization token, to pull down the repos and get the personal access. So this is what would be interesting. If we can get this personal access token, then we might be able to compromise the Gitia instance. I'll tell you guys, real pentest story, which this honestly sounds like a CTF when I tell it to you, but I was on an external pentest. An external pentest is just when the client gives you a list of IPs or domains that are in scope, and I was running dir search on them just like I did for the CTF, and I don't know how they misconfigured it this badly, but there was a directory, I don't remember what it was, but the directory had one of the developers' GitHub access token just in clear text exposed to the internet. I pulled down their access token. I connected to their GitHub with the developer's access token. It was actually active and valid and had full write access to all of their private internal repos. I downloaded all their internal repos and source code, and I was like, oh shoot, this is a big deal. So I did an early disclosure. I was like, hey, you might want to rotate this token and make sure nobody else got their hands on this token, because I just managed to stumble across it. So you do see stuff like this in the real world. That honestly, if I saw that on a CTF, I would say this isn't realistic. Like, what is the machine creator doing? But every once in a while, real world scenarios are very CTF-y, and you would be surprised what you come across. Anyways, I don't know if that's the case here, but we do see a Gitia access token being passed, but it's coming from an environment variable, so we can't just grab it from here, I don't think. We can just explore this. We'll see if there's any issues open. There's not. None of these would probably be interesting. Releases, wiki, activity. Nothing has been committed. Go back to our code itself. We can check for commits. Can I compare? No, okay, I don't want to compare. I want to see if there's any commits that might have anything sensitive. I'm not seeing how to deal it with Gitia. Oh, history. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so let me just show you what we just did, because that's a common thing I do. Once again, even on internal pen tests, I've had multiple times where I get access to something like a Gitia instance or an internal Git. And if there's no sensitive creds being passed in the script itself, it's always worth checking the commit history. Maybe there was a previous commit where they committed something sensitive, and that's what I was checking there. And here in Gitia, we can go up here and see history. When we do that, you can see that we have 2 commits from Ellen Freeman. The first one was updating repos.py, or the second one rather, and that's the file that we were looking at. But the first one is add repos.py. All right, one change file with 40 additions. So this is when they first created it, and look at that. Would you just look at it? Almost identical to what I was talking about before, but very real world. This is not CTF-y. This is something I see in the real world if I get access on an internal pen test to like a Git instance. But you can see it is passing the user's personal access token for Gitia. And then it says store this as an environment instead at some point, which they do eventually do. But let's go ahead and grab a screenshot of that for either our pen test or our note. So we'll just start maybe up here. Now, the way you would do this on an actual pen test is you wouldn't want to expose the access token in your report. So you would take a screenshot like this. You would highlight it saying like, this is what it is, but then you would censor it. So I would take maybe this last half, and I would censor it like that so that it's not exposed on the report. But we aren't writing a report. We are just writing a walkthrough for a CTF, so we don't have to do that. Anyways, we'll do like an H3, and we'll say discovering access token. Exactly, Kenny. Make that a little bit smaller. We'll drop it over to the left side. And I want to make a code block and grab this. Can you remove history from Git where something like this happens, or is the only option update? You can remove it. There's ways to censor it. It depends on what you're using internally, but yes. So we have the personal access token. Here's what I don't know, though. I don't know the syntax to connect with that. So we could just look at some documentation. I mean, we could always ask ChatGPT, which is the fast way, but I think you learn better if you dig into it a little bit. So get access token command line. Look, other people were asking it. Well, that's the... You can't escape the AI answers. We'll see if this is actually helpful. I want to see, can I just use it on the CLI? I'm pretty sure you can. I just don't remember the syntax. Blah, blah, blah. Token authentication, git clone. Okay, we can just cache it like a password. That would be... So I think what you can do, you guys let me know if you know the syntax without Googling it, but I think you can pass it as an actual header as well. Okay, so creating the token. To create your own token template. Okay. Using a personal blah blah. Once you have a personal access token, you can enter it instead of your password in performing Git operations. For example, the cloner repo on the command line, you would enter the following git clone command. You would then be prompted to enter your username and password. When prompted for your password, enter your personal access token instead of your password. Okay. Let's go ahead and give that a shot. Speaking of ChatGPT, are there any other AI tools you use in pen testing? No, I mean, mainly GPT and Gemini, but mainly just to remember syntax, just to speed up this process. But when I do CTFs like this, I try to look at the documentation and learn that way because it sticks better. But when I found that access token exposed in that pen test, I just asked GPT, what's the syntax for me to authenticate with this? Obviously, I didn't pass the access token to GPT, but just to get the syntax. But I don't want to be overly reliant on that, especially when streaming. So let's go ahead and clone it, and then we'll go ahead and use Ellen's access token. So I think what we can do, can we see, I mean, we could clone dev scripts, but is there, I don't know that would do what that would do for us. You can use a token at IP. But see, if I just don't see how useful this will be. We have dev scripts, but what we want to know is, does Ellen have other repos that we might be able to get access to? Because just cloning dev scripts is not going to do anything for us because we already see it. Like, and modifying isn't going to do anything. Getia, I believe, does have an API. Okay, API tokens, I think. Let's try to use this as an authorization header token. and see if we can enumerate with the API first. Okay, let's just see. I don't know. What's notification? Let's use notification threads. Let's go ahead and try it out. Oh, no, let's not try it out. I just want something to test access. I want to see maybe a user. Get the authenticated user. Unauthorized. So that did not work. Token is required. So we have authorization there. How do we pass this token properly? So this is a depreciated for removal. Well, just depreciated, but we might be able to use it. I guess let's try the access token first. And if you guys have any guesses, feel free to shout them out. Let's just try this and let's see if we can run it now. Oh, would you look at that? We have access right there, and we can replicate it in our terminal by just copying the curl command. And we can pass it over to JQ, which I don't have installed. All right, I'm not going to update my Kali Linux thing right now, so we're just going to work with it. Anyways, we can see when we run this command, we are authenticated as Ellen Freeman via the Getia API. So let's just grab this and drop it in our notes so we know the syntax. Digging into Getia via the API. I'll just do a co-block and drop that information in there. What I'm curious about is, can we use the API to figure out if there's other repos that maybe aren't public? Migrate search for repository. Does this accept parameters? I just want to be like, give me all repos. Okay, let's try to search. Let's just see if the search one works, I suppose. I'm just going to run it with nothing. Okay, that actually does work. Sweet. So if we run this command, all right, that looks beautiful. Now, if you want to fix it, if you pass it over to JQ, which parses JSON objects, which is what I was trying to do before, but I'd have to upgrade my Kali instance, and we're not going to wait for it to do that. But if you just pipe it to JQ, it will make it look a lot nicer. But I just want the syntax here so we can add it to our notes. So we'll drop over to our notes, and we'll say, listing the repos for Ellen, I think is her name. And we'll drop that in. And then when we look at this here, let me zoom in so you guys can see this a little bit better. Maybe. All right, that looks a little bit better. When we list out Ellen, we have her dev scripts, of course. What do we have going on? That's her ID. Okay, here's a different repo for a website. Which might be interesting. Okay, let's grab a screenshot of that. We'll show this clone URL. We'll try to clone that, and then we'll see if we can use the access token like on the command line. Because that is a repo that isn't in that public repo one. So potentially, this repo called website, maybe there's more sensitive credentials or something along those lines that we're able to steal down and enumerate. So I'm going to grab this clone URL. I'm going to git clone. But instead of localhost, we have to change this to lock.vl. And we're going to do ellen.freeman. And our password for Ellen is, of course, going to be that access token. If I understood the documentation correctly. Boom. All right, we did successfully clone it. I'll just add that to our notes as well. And you see me taking these notes, guys. If you're studying for an exam like the OSCP, the PMPT, every time you solve a machine, you want to make sure you're taking good notes. You can refer back to your notes, and then you can be like, hey, I saw Gatia once when I was doing the CTF. Let me pull up my notes and see what I all did with that Gatia instance. But we'll say cloning the private repo. Password is the personal just token from above. So we have that. We have cloned that repo. And now, oh, I did it in the wrong spot. Oh, well. We'll CD over to website. And we have... Actually, I believe that's the main website. Remember yesterday when we were enumerating port 80? We saw this changelog.txt. Added first website version. And if we go to .vl changelog.txt, added first website version. So this is actually like that main website, I think. Scroll down in our notes. It looks like this is actually the main website on port 80. Because of that changelog.txt, we know that. Can I don't know if that will actually update. No, because I'd have to authenticate with her on the command line. Let me look over at time. We're at 20 minutes here. We'll keep digging into it. First thing I want to do is let's go back over to Hack the Box, lock here, and then we'll do this all in lock. But what we want to do is authenticate from the command line so then we can actually push changes and such to it. Let's git clone again. And then we're going to try to authenticate Ellen.Freeman. Password for Ellen. I'm blind. I scrolled right by it. Wait, where's it at? Right here. I am blind. All right, see the website. Geez, I don't even have Visual Studio Code installed. Let's get this installed as well. Make it a little bit easier to work with. Do. All right, we could just do it on the command line too. We'll let that take some time to install. I think if we echo smarter hacks all the things into changelog.txt, and then if we do git add that, and then we can add a commit message. Please subscribe. All right, git config global user.email. Oh, I meant to do that for the username. I don't know if I'm doing this right, guys. My Git skills aren't great. Grab our personal access token. Did I actually do that right? Let's check. Okay, maybe that just takes a while to update. I have no idea. And I did do it correct. All right, let's copy all this syntax on us proving that we have actually write access. Hey, peace out, Zeph here. But proving that we have write access to the directory. So I'll scroll through and we'll do like a H3. Write access to the website itself. And we have our POC pasted in there. We'll change this. Oh, it's already bash. All right, well, that's fine. It just looks a little bit sloppy there. But here is what we have confirmed. Let me just recap if you felt a little bit lost there. So in this part, we enumerated that public repo that we found. When we were looking at that public repo, we looked at the history of any commits. And the first commit that Ellen Freeman made is she or he pushed their personal access token to the repo. Well, with the personal access token, we then used the Getia API, and we knew that that was there from dir search. When we did the dir search command, we saw that on the terminal, which is why it's so important to take notes when you're doing these things. Actually, I believe it was right here. API Swagger. So we knew there was an API. Once we knew that there was an API, we were able to use that to enumerate first, do we actually have access as Ellen Freeman? And that's what we did with this first curl command. Do we have access? And we do. She's not an admin, but we do have access as Ellen Freeman. Then we listed the repos for Ellen Freeman. We just did a blank search in all the repos, and we found another repo called website. We get cloned and we use Ellen Freeman for the username and that personal access token for the password, and we were able to clone the website. It actually looked like it was the main website being hosted on port 80, because once again, notes are important, and hopefully you remember that from part 1. And then we wanted to see, do we actually have write access to the website itself? And you can see that we do. We were able to overwrite the changelog.txt with hack smarter hacks all the things. We did your standard git stuff, so git add, git commit. Then I realized I had to authenticate, so we just typed in Ellen Freeman there. And then when we committed it, it prompted us for the username and password again. We did Ellen for the username, password, we did that personal access token, and then we have the POC right there that we can actually write to the public website. So I want to give you a challenge before we dive into part 3. I have given you all the tools that you need to get a reverse shell on this machine. But before I just show you how to do it, I want you to try it on your own. Now, I'll give you a few hints. If we scroll up to the top here, remember, we are attacking the web server on port 80. And I want you to keep in mind, and we talked about this in the enumeration yesterday in that first stream, that first part, that this is a Microsoft IIS web server. So here's the information you have. You are able to write to a web server. The web server is a Microsoft IIS web server. What could you write in order to give yourself RCE or remote code execution? I want you to try it on your own, give it a shot, and then when you're done, join me in the next part, and we will hopefully pop a shell and continue our hacking. But hey, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. All right, I'm still live with you guys, but I felt that that was a really good natural breakpoint between the two parts. What up, True Twitch? Good to have you here. I'm about to Legolo YOLO. I'm about to Legolo YOLO. I love it. Hey guys, that's everything I had for you though tonight. A little bit of hip hop in the beginning, a little bit of light hacking, continuing our series working through the lock machine here on HackTheBox/VulnLab. But yo, thank you, Bearded IT. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much, seriously, for taking the time to hang out with me. I really am honored by it. Do want to let you know I usually live stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday around 8:30 p.m. or basically whenever I can get my kids to bed. you're not on the next few days, this needs to be 1.5 hours. We are at 1 hour and 10 minutes. I'll do Q&A for 20 more minutes. But anyways, generally whenever I can get my kids to bed, that's when I jump on stream. One more final reminder that I also make courses. So if you appreciate my teaching style, my content, one of the best ways you can support me is by getting a course or getting a sub. Only during this live stream, they're 15% off. As soon as the live stream is over, they're all going to full price. I also have a Ko-Fi. If you want to support me on Ko-Fi, you can give a one-time gift. You can also become a subscriber over there. You can actually buy stuff over there as well. Ko-Fi is actually better for me because it takes less of a revenue cut than the other platforms. And guys, not final reminder, but I am doing this thing full time starting October 1st. We are doing this together. So if you're new to my channel, new to my live streams, I work right now as a pen tester, red teamer, but on October 1st, I am quitting my current very well-paying job. They're not firing me. I'm not laid off. I'm quitting to start my own pen testing firm and to focus more on content and courses. Right now, I've been trying to do all of it late at night. So I work your typical 8 to 5 during the day. Then I hang out with my kids so they go to bed. Then I'm back online working on things. So I'm hoping to be able to focus on one thing. Well, there'll be a bunch of different streams of income I'm working on. But that's what I'm launching on October 1st. And I'm doing everything I can to build it in the public. So I'm sharing with you guys the good, the bad, the things that I'm working on. If you want to be part of that journey, my primary platform is YouTube, and that's where I'm documenting all of it. So let me grab this here, drop a link, but you can see I'm getting close to 700 videos, but this is where you can catch all my shorter standalone videos. Here is me talking a little bit more about business, but I'll be sharing a lot more on that once it gets closer. I could give you guys a sneak preview. It wouldn't be this hard for you to find, but I'll show you the website. It is live right now. I just can't actually sell stuff on it yet due to a conflict of interest with my current employer. But I considered paying someone to make the website for me because I wanted it to look really nice. Then I was like, nope. I bet I could design the website myself. So what I'm going to show you is all created by yours truly. It's all self-hosted by me in DigitalOcean. So I manage the front end, I manage the back end infrastructure. All of it is me. So if hacking doesn't work out, maybe I will be a web designer. But I can't show you everything on this website yet, but I can show you a lot of it. So here is the firm Kairos. I know it sounds a little esoteric, but I wanted it to be more original than just like, shield security. Kairos in ancient Greek, so in Koine Greek, which is the Greek the New Testament was written in, there's two words for time. There's chronos, which is like chronological time or time on a clock, and there's kairos, which means at the perfect moment or at the opportune moment. And so we provide the offensive security expertise needed to act at the perfect moment, the kairos, to neutralize risk before they impact your business. You can see all your general pen testing information, the different pen testing services I'll be offering. So I do web apps, APIs, networks, LLMs, cloud pen testing, social engineering, all of those things. That's what I actually lead right now in my current firm, and that's what I will be offering. Do we get to pen test your website? Please don't, just because you're going to cost me money, probably. There's nothing to pen test. There's literally... It's a static website, essentially. Let me stop sharing my screen because there's a few things I can't show you guys. But I can show you these things now. So at the bottom of the page, I don't know what I can all show. I'll pull up a few things. I'll pull up a few links that I can show you guys. So one, and I hope to make this a reality, guys, if I ever end up hiring people, I will be, the first people I hire will be for the pen testing side, like not for content, not for YouTube. That stuff isn't to that level. But I already have our first client lined up for October. It's a 8-day internal pen test, a lot sooner than I was expecting. And if the pen testing blows up, that's where I'll actually need some employees or some contractors. So not hiring at the moment. But hopefully one day soon I will hire at Kairos, and it'll be awesome. good pay, fully remote, all that fun stuff. So I have a career page, even though I'm not hiring in the foreseeable future unless things really blow up, but I'm speaking it into existence. Also, Hack Smarter is still a big part of it. So Hack Smarter is the community arm of KairosSec. So I'm really working full time between KairosSec and Hack Smarter. Kind of the TLDR difference is Hack Smarter is very much a grassroots community that I founded to help people with their goals and their careers. We have weekly goal meetings, study groups, resume reviews, donate what you can, career coaching, all of that fun stuff over on Hack Smarter. So if you're not part of that community, you go to hacksmarter.org and join that Discord. But I had a meeting today with someone in the Hack Smarter's Partners program. Now, I'm not telling anyone you have to join this because it's a huge commitment. But these are people who have the financial means to support me on this journey. And with them, I do essentially quarterly business meetings. And I had a meeting with one of the Hack Smarter Partners people today. And if you're a Hack Smarter partner, I mean, I quite literally showed him everything. I showed him all of my spreadsheets showing all the income that I have right now coming in, the expenses that I have, my current accounting, my future plans on generating revenue, how I'm working on keeping courses and everything accessible and affordable, my plans for launching the pen testing firm, like things that I can't just share on YouTube. The Hack Smarter Partners people, when they set up a meeting with me, I go through all of that literally step by step. I take their feedback, answer any questions they have, and they're a key part of the journey. So if I ever get to a place where I can hire people or even bring on some contractors to give them experience, the Hack Smarter Partners people are the first people I'm going to be reaching out to just because they're investing heavily in this thing to help me succeed. So if you want to be there from really the ground floor and help me build this, and hopefully it's successful for all of us, you would be the first person I kind of bring into this journey with me. But the idea that he had is he said, hey, you know what you should do? On September 30th, you should stream past midnight, almost like a New Year's Eve party, because on October 1st, this officially launches. And I love that idea. So I think that's what I'm going to do. September 30th, we're going to do a late night live stream, and we're going to quite literally watch the countdown. When it goes to midnight, my local time, it's official. The business is live. Everything is live. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to do that on September 30th. All right, I realized I missed a bunch of questions as I was showing that off. So let me just scroll back up in chat. You taking sponsors on your channel? I am. So I have a few conversations with a few different orgs for sponsorships. I generally don't do like sponsored videos. Like I don't do full videos that are sponsored, but when organizations are open to like a 30 to 60 second ad integration, that's what I do. And generally when I have a sponsor, what I'll do is I'll take a segment from one of my paid courses and make it available for free on YouTube, thanks to that sponsor. So I have a few that I'm hopefully working with, but I also talked to like a firm that essentially handles sponsorship stuff. If I could get someone like that, that would be amazing, because I do get a lot of sponsorship requests. I just don't have the time to like check out every sponsor to make sure they're legit and do all the business side of things. But thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it. Thank you, Cyber Saint. I do have a pen testing AI course coming out in 2026 called Hacking the Robots. And I'll have an entire course on AI and LLM pen testing. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the name. Guys, I was super insecure about the name. Just I was like, I don't know if this is too esoteric that people aren't going to think of it, but I think KairosSec, as long as you know how to pronounce it, rolls off the tongue. KairosSec, it's easy to remember. It'll look good on shirts and stuff. Also, I have freaking Kairos in Greek tatted to my arm already. So it goes back to my days in ministry. So just that word is a big part of my life. And I thought, hey, KairosSec kind of combines my past and my present into one organization. So setting up your own pen testing firm, do you have to deal with things like clients submitting CREST certification or other hoops that they make you jump through? I mean, it depends on the client. CREST certification isn't a big thing in the US, not something I get asked for. I will say clients generally do want the OSCP on the pen testers, CVEs, things like that. And that's what I advertise, because I'm the pen tester and the founder and everything else. So I don't plan on doing a bunch of pen testing. Ideally, I'm aiming for about 4 to 6 pen tests in 2026. So very small scale, very boutique, high quality, but I'm not going to be doing a bunch of pen tests. The focus is going to be much more on partnerships and high quality manual pen testing, because I will be the one performing it, unless it is more successful than I think, and then I'll hire some contractors. But here's what I know. I'm decent at B2C sales, or business to consumer sales, because that's what courses are. Doing business to business sales, such as pen testing, is just a completely different beast. It takes a lot longer to get some traction there. It pays a lot better, but it takes a lot longer to get traction. So I expect the pen testing side of things to grow much slower, but I have built a lot into savings, so I can kind of try this for 2 years and hopefully get it profitable within 2 years. And then I can, pay my bills. But I have about 2 years of runway that I'm working with. I don't have outside investors. It's all of my own money. I'm self-funding all of this, and I think it'll be successful. And hopefully I can use it to help out the entire community once we get to that point. And also, guys, so one thing that's been helpful for me, if you ever want to launch your own pen testing business, is partnering with an MSP. So when I knew I was launching this pen testing business, I used to manage IT for a local college. And when I did that, I worked with a local MSP, or managed service provider. So I have good relationships with them. I reached out to them when I knew I was launching this firm. I was like, hey guys, I'm launching my own pen testing firm. I would love to chat to see if there's a partnership here. And that's actually how I got my first client for October. We are going to be their official pen test vendor for all of their clients. Now, not a lot of their clients are even going to be interested in pen testing, but they're going to be sharing all of our information with all their clients. Their salespeople are actually going to help sell our pen test services. What they get out of it is 20% of the revenue. So like this client in October, they get 20% of the revenue off the top as a thank you for lining up the client. But without me hiring my own staff, I now have like a legit sales team selling my services through their services. But if a client signs up, it's all through me. Like, it's not subcontract, it's going through us, but they get 20% off the top. I have another meeting with another MSP down in Texas, I think tomorrow maybe, or Friday, for a similar thing. One of their team members was actually going through one of my courses, and that's how they heard about me, and they reached out to their boss and said we should talk to him. And so I have a meeting with them to set up a similar type partnership. So I think if you want to launch your own pen testing business, at least from my very limited experience so far, if you can line up partnerships with MSPs who already have existing clients, and you can become like their official pen test vendor, that has already paid off for me before even starting the business. My VM just went to sleep. I don't have testing experience. I've done a lot of customer service. If you need a customer facing person, hopefully soon, guys. Like I said before, I'll just be real with you. I need to be able to pay my own bills first, which my bills aren't crazy expensive, but I will say, since I'm no longer going to be under an employer, health insurance is stupid expensive for a family of 4. I mean, I'm looking at probably over $1,000 a month just to cover my health insurance. Now, I live in rural South Dakota, so my expenses are pretty low. Basically, I need to make about $6,000 a month where I live in order to pay for the expenses for my family. But I have a family of 4. I'm the sole income provider. So then you add health insurance on top of that. I need to make about $7,000 to $8,000 a month of net income just to pay my bills. I do have a lot of runway, so I don't need to make that right away, but that's what I'm aiming for. So if I can pay my own bills and get to a spot that, hey, maybe I can hire someone or hire some contractors, that's when we'll have that conversation. What up, Digital Andrew? Good to have you here. All right, let me just scroll through chat. I work for a small US-based firm, and we had to bite the bullet on Crest because a major client said we needed it. Well, that's probably the difference. So we get that every once in a while where I work now, but we just tell them like we're not going to do it because we have so many clients in my current company. I think the benefit that I also have, guys, is pen testing will not be my primary thing. And so I don't need to bend over backwards for a major client. Like I'm not in the market for them. And so if a client's like, hey, you have to do this, this, and this for us to be your client, I'll just say, okay, we're not the firm for you. And it's not going to be the end of the world. Thank you. Yeah, so true Twitch is spot on with that. People, this is a bootstrap startup. Yes. Guys, that like you think startup and you think of like outside investors and a lot of money. I am self-funding everything. I have zero outside investors. I have zero partners in that sense. I am the full owner. I'm also the full like it's all my capital that's going into this. I'm the one making this happen. And 4 years ago, I was making $40,000 a year as a pastor. So I do not have just a bunch of money. Now, what's worked really well for me is ever since I got into tech full time, I've made significantly more money than I ever made as a pastor. But you know what I didn't change? I did not change my lifestyle. I did not change my standard of living. So all the extra money I've made, I've been able to do some investments, put in savings, and that's kind of built this up so that I'm able to self-fund myself. So one takeaway is if you are making a good salary, you don't have to spend all your salary. Seriously, don't allow that lifestyle creep to catch up to you. If you were doing fine at $50,000 a year and you now make $150,000 a year, you don't need to spend $150,000 a year, but we have a tendency to let that lifestyle creep in and take that. Don't do it. Just keep, I live in the same house. I would say I drive the same car, but my freaking 2002 Volvo broke. So now I have a 2012 Honda Pilot I bought for $8,000, all paid. I have no loans. I have no debt. I paid off all my student loans with my IT salary. So I have zero loans, zero debt, zero credit card stuff. That's what makes this possible. But I also can't just be like, hey, let me take on a bunch of employees because I don't even know if I can pay myself in the long term. So volunteers is another thing, but that's tough. Guys, you have to remember, pen testing, you are handling very sensitive client data. Even for me to have like a volunteer or an intern, there's a lot of NDA stuff. There's a lot of legal stuff. I have to make sure data is handled properly. So it's not the same as like, hey, volunteering for a church, volunteering for a pen test firm actually costs the pen test firm quite a bit of money. So I can't also just say, hey, if you want to volunteer, contact me, because there's way more to it than what it sounds like on the surface. Beard IT said health insurance is a big reason I haven't left my day job. Exactly. I'm betting on myself, dude. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep you posted. But on the marketplace, I was able to get a health insurance plan for my family for, I think I'm at like $900 or $1,000. But in 2026, some of the subsidies from COVID are going to expire unless Congress extends them. So my insurance is probably going to cost more in 2026. The best thing I can ask you guys to do, if you want to support me in this, if you know of anyone or any organization that needs a pen test in 2026, give them my information, have them reach out to me. What I'll tell you is that if you're in the US, I can't offer this to other countries. I still have to talk to an accountant to figure out what it would look like. But what I can say is if you are in the US and you refer someone my way, like a client, and they actually sign up and go through a pen test, I will give you 10% of the revenue, which is actually pretty good. So let me do some math for you. We are a boutique pen testing firm, and let's say for a standard 5-day web app pen test, you're looking at a total cost for the client of about $14,000. All right. If you get 10% of that for referring the client my way, you don't even have to do any work. You just bring me the client, and if they sign up, I will literally cut you a check for $1,400. That's almost the entire OSCP just for bringing a client my way who ends up signing up for a pen test. So like, I can't hire you, but if you send this out, there you go. You can get a pen test much cheaper for that, but then you're literally just paying for a Nessus scan. Most what's called boutique pen testing firms, you're looking at an hourly rate somewhere between $250 an hour up to about $600 an hour. So we're at $350 an hour, but for new clients, I'm offering discounts of anywhere from $250 to kind of $300, depending on the client and depending on their budget. But yeah, if you bring me a client, I will give you 10%. Now, if that leads to a conflict of interest, like if you're the organization, then maybe that won't work. But if I'm able to do it legally, I will give you 10% of the pen test off the top, just as a thank you. On real pen tests or even certification exams, do you have to report on things that you tried that failed? Yes. Actually, that's a really good question, Jay Busy. a pen test is not a CTF. I mean, you might have a pen test where you only have a few findings. And when that happens, what I like to do is, in addition to like, you know, the vulnerability report in the pen test, I'll have a list of strengths. So if it's like a web app, I'll say like, the application did not disclose whether or not a username existed. This shows that, you know, username enumeration is not possible, blah, blah. So I'll take like the things that I tested that failed and I'll turn them into strengths, because the purpose of a pen test report isn't just to say, hey, you suck, fix this, but it's also to highlight, here are some really good things that your team is doing that is practicing defense in depth. Hopefully that answers your question, Jay Busy. What up, Philip? We're almost going to sign off, but appreciate you being here. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night, though. I have some video editing I have to do still before I go to bed. Get some things ready for when I'm camping. I can still drop content. Hey, Cyber saying, dude, I seriously would be amazing. You bring some clients my way, I'll give you 10%. Don't forget to study. Be better than robots. Exactly. Guys, before we sign off, though, I always like to do a raid. Now, if you're not used to streaming terminology, raid comes from Twitch. When we raid someone is we take all of the streamers on Twitch and we send them to another streamer. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can't be part of the raid. So if you're on YouTube, you should come watch on Twitch. Let me drop a link to my Twitch channel. Muhammad, yes. Tell me what your question is. I'll wait for people to go to Twitch, because I think, let me check channels. Most of you are on YouTube, so come join the 20 people on Twitch. Let's make that bigger, and we'll see who is streaming right now. Oh, the Shy Hat and Oreo Bite. Awesome. We'll raid them. They're both amazing. Can you discuss on a pen test report? No, I cannot share pen test report details on my streams. Unless you mean like how a pen test report is set up. I could do that sometime. I plan on making an entire course on pen test report writing in late 2025 or early 2026. Yo, Muhammad had a question, but I can't see it. He said, please answer this, but he never dropped the question. So I'll give him a second to see if he gets his question pulled up while I get this raid ready to go. We get Twitch pulled up over here. And guys, just a reminder again, no other live streams this week. I got to take tomorrow night to pack for my camping trip with my family. Then I'll be camping with my family on Friday night and into the weekend. And then Monday's Labor Day. I'll be back on stream on Tuesday. We'll do the drawing for the PMPT for those who subscribe to the courses platform. But let's go ahead and raid the Shy Hat. YouTube does raids? Dude, I didn't even know that. Does it really? Okay, hold up. Either the bearded IT dad is screwing with me or he's right. They call it redirects. I think the Shy Hat also streams. Well, you know, I'll look into that a different day. Next time we'll do both raids. For this one, we're just going to raid on Twitch. So if you guys want to be part of the raid, we're going to raid my friend the Shy Hat. He's an awesome instructor. And then I'll look into how to do the YouTube redirects another time for the next one. But I got to jump off, do some video editing before I go to bed, and then start another work day in the morning. So let me get this raid set up. Make sure when we do the raid, you guys all spam in chat. Hack smarter, not harder. He will know who we are. But I got the raid set up. Oh, it's in the settings on your stream. Sweet, I'll check it out. Thank you. And dude, Beard.IT Dad, I think we're meeting like next week sometime. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you. We technically met at DEF CON, but it'll be fun. Chatting, thinking about ways we can collab, but you sent me an email. All right, I will check my email as well as soon as I sign off. Thank you. All right, guys, the raid is ready to go. Make sure you say hack smarter, not harder in chat. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me tonight. I will be back next week on Tuesday, and we'll do some more AMA hacking, rapping,